Fresh as in fresh bread. Fresh as something new, original, unimpaired, something not processed. Fresh, like a fresh caught fish. Fresh, nothing tastes better than fresh carp. So join with me today, Cusp attendees 2013, and ask yourselves two questions. Number one, what does fresh look like in my life, in my design mindset, as it were, in my job, in my family? Question number two, what has to happen or occur in my life for that freshness to become reality rather than just an idea? I'm Mike Ivers. I come to you fresh from Yuma, Arizona. I have spent the last 2 years of my life discovering what fresh produce is like. But you didn't know this, 92% of the world's lettuce comes from winter lettuce, comes from Yuma, Arizona. That's right, give me a yoo-hoo, yes. All right, thank you very much. So let's look at fresh. As I do in the produce world, number one, temperature. Number two, soil. Number three, rotation. Number four, sun. And number five, water. Temperature. Obviously, I have a lot of produce here. We do a lot of citrus here. There you go, right there. All right, good catch. Way to be, man. All right. Because I needed to get to that because I want to take some temperatures here. What is our temperature right now? Last year we had a tough produce season in Yuma because it was warm too long. 81, man, you got to work on that. Okay. Let's see what we got, 92. What is our temperature? What is the temperature in our life? Sometimes our creative juices get frozen over. Sometimes we're frozen in other people's lives. Too cold. There are sometimes when we are too hot for other people. So what do we have to do to improve the temperature in our life? As I run the food bank in Yuma, Arizona, about 5 weeks ago, a woman comes up to me and she says, Mike, we have no bread, we have no meat, we have no baby formula, we have no diapers. I said, oh, you're crazy. I went out there and she was right. It was a bad situation. The temperature in my blood right then was not very calm. But we got to try to stay calm. In Yuma, sometimes it's a challenge. Our unemployment rate is 34.5%, the highest in the United States of America. We are the number one food insecure county in Arizona. 27.3% of the people who live there don't know where their next meal's coming from. But that's all right. So we call people to the task. We send an SOS out, stock our shelves. In 3 weeks, I wanted to raise 20,000 pounds. And in that period of time, we raised 27,733 pounds of food to feed the hungry, to join in our war on hunger in Yuma. Don't know if you know about us, but we got the MCS, Marine Corps Air Station, Yuma Proving Ground, 5,000 Marines. We're at war on hunger. Yuma Regional Medical Center, 5,000 pounds of food they brought in. And Mrs. Dozier was driving by the food bank, and she and her two kids, her 6-year-old and 8-year-old, said, Mom, what's that long line for? And she told them, and they said, we got to do something. They went to the store, and they each bought 3 loaves of bread with their own money. So as we come in to Cusp 2013, what do we have to do to make our lives more fresh as it comes to temperature? Number 2, soil. Oh, you got to have the right mix. I want to thank Terry Canizaro of J.V. Smith Farms and C.R. Waters of Do to Fresh Farms, my consultants in this particular project. And because I don't know anything about produce, let me tell you. And I don't know much about farming or agriculture, but I know a lot more than I did 2 years ago, I'll tell you that. Anyway, so I said to him, what do we need in soil, CR? He says, Mike, it's the mix. It's the balance, the right amount. You got to have the right amount of silt, the right amount of clay. He says you got to have a good mixture. And that's what we need to ask ourselves. What's the balance in our lives? Do we have the right soil, as it were? Do we immerse ourselves in that soil? Do we really get ourselves into the soil? Do we really know the soil? We've got to get out. Cusp is an opportunity for us to get out. Oh, my goodness, I lost a grapefruit. Man, citrus is big in Yuma. Here you go, man. You can catch it. Good job. All right, we got lots of and I lost the cabbage. Almost lost my watermelon. That'll be a problem. All right, there you go. All right. So I said, nice try, okay? Anyway, I said, see, what's the biggest problem with the soil? Is it those insects, the white fly? He says, Mike, no, it's weeds like this one here that was growing on Huron Street until I picked it this morning. I said, CR, what is a weed? He said, Mike, a weed is a plant growing where you don't want it to grow. There you go. Take that home. As we go into Cusp and try to get fresh, try to become fresher than when we walked in here, what's the status of the weeds in our lives? Sometimes the design of everything we're impeded because we got allowed too many weeds to encroach upon our very selves. Look at this lettuce. I got to be careful of this because I love the lettuce in Yuma. Is incredible. And it's very, very important, but it's got to have the right soil. So what does that mean? It means you got to go out. So don't just sit there at break time. Don't just sit in your comfort zones at Cusp 2013. Try to become fresh. Because guess what? You might have walked in here today a little stale. Be ready for the lettuce to come your way. Be ready to get out there and to go ahead and get in the soil. So we had an exciting event last Thursday at the Yuma Community Food Bank. Secretary of Education, a cabinet member, visited us, Arnie Duncan. I knew he was coming. I knew we had to get ready for him. So I wanted it to be impactful. I wanted him to taste the soil of rural Arizona. So months before, I was visiting the backpack program in Mohawk Valley School District. 42.7% of the children who live in Yuma, Arizona don't know where their next meal's coming from. So I went out to Dr. Rutan and visited him. We put the food in backpacks so the kids don't get bullied. He said, Mike, let me tell you a story. One of the kids missed the bus, 8 years old. I said, that's okay, I'll go pick him up. I went to pick him up, Mike, and he said the kid was standing there in front of a motel room. And I said, is this where you live? And he said, well, we did till today, me and my family of 6 in that motel room, but we got evicted today. So we got in the car and we drove back to school, Mike, and the kid points to a dilapidated, boarded up, abandoned mobile home and says, that's my new house. So I followed up and met with Ashton, and he was one of the 5 kid speakers at the event that Secretary Duncan came to. No adults. That made it a great event, let me tell you. So anyway, he gets up there, gets on stage. He's got boots on, blue jeans with some hay on it, a cowboy belt buckle, and a cowboy hat, because that's how he goes to school every day. And this is what he said. Secretary Duncan, my name is Ashton Gunther. I'm 9 years old, and I go to Mohawk Valley School. Mr. Ivers asked me what I was going to do without the food from the backpacks this summer. And I told him it was complicated. If my mother could save enough money, we'd have gas money to come to the food bank. What I like most about the food bank, Secretary Duncan, is the milk, because we don't have milk in our refrigerator. We don't have a clue as to what's going on in the soil of other people's lives. Cusp can motivate us and energize us and inspire us to go out there and do it. Factor number 3, rotation. Soon as Ashton got down, Alex Decky got up there and said, when I first came to the food bank, I met a kid just like Ashton, 9 years old. I said, what are you doing here? And the kid says, well, I'm here because I get hungry a lot, my stomach hurts, my head hurts, and I can't think straight in school. And Alex Decky said, that changed my life. I had to rotate my priorities. I had to reassess my value system. Last year I raised $8,000 for the food bank. I just graduated from Yuma Catholic, going to Duke University. This year I raised $10,000. That's what all of us are challenged to do. If we don't rotate the soil in the crops, the nutrients won't be able to hold. C.R. Waters said, Mike, you got to rotate. You got to rotate the crops. I had a problem last year with the lettuce. That one that I just sent you out there, it's got sclerotina on it, okay, so be careful. It's called lettuce drop. I said, what are you talking about, lettuce drop? It's a disease. I said, really? I said, what do? You rotate it. So let me tell you what I did. I took the lettuce out. The next year, I put cotton in. Put the lettuce back, still had sclerotina. He said, the next year, I put it in again, and this time I put in alfalfa. Then I put in lettuce the next year, still had sclerotina. But guess what, Mike? The next year, I rotated it with broccoli. Yeah, this is broccoli, believe it or not. Here's a line. We grow lots of those. All right, good job. Broccoli, this is the best piece of broccoli I've ever seen. There's probably very little of it here. That's why I like it. Can't stand broccoli. I mean, look at this. This is and they were actually selling this. I won't say at what store. And I had to pay for it, too. But anyway, I said, man, broccoli? He says it did it. I rotated it with broccoli, and it totally took care of the sclerotina. I said, that's great. You look like a broccoli kind of guy there, buddy. There you go. So rotate. Sometimes we need to change. So Cusp is an opportunity for us to evaluate where can we rotate in our lives. All right. Yeah, squash. We got a lot of that. Do you want to try again? One more time. This is the last time I'm going to throw it to you. Good job. Give her a round of applause. All right. Here's some tomatoes from Nogales. All of these vegetables I'm giving to you right now come to us at the Yuma Community Food Bank. Do you know the generosity of the Yuma farmers? In the last 5 years, they've donated through the Yuma Community Food Bank 85 million pounds of produce. Yuma's an unbelievable community. Oh, I got these things. I want to get rid of them. They're not going to hurt you. They might poke your eye out if you don't get them. They're called Brussels sprouts. I mean, why is that even something that you have to eat? Anyway, we get them and people take them. Last thing, what do I got? Oh, yeah, potatoes. Here you go. There you go. Good job. Potatoes. We got those. So the next issue, sun. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you look better with these shades on. Do you know, Yuma, Arizona, I never thought I had SADS, but let me tell you right now, I am definitely convinced that I did. The sun shines in Yuma, Arizona 580 days a year, let me tell you. It's unbelievable. So at Cusp 2013, if we're going to be fresher, what kind of sun are we bringing into other people's lives? Do they see us as a person of sun? Or are we seen more as a monsoon or a storm? We can get sunized and freshized at Cusp 2013. We had a tough time when we found out we're #1 in the nation and #1. And I said, you know what, let's not emphasize that. Let's emphasize the sun that's here in Yuma. And the many, many generous people, but I'm going to talk about Lisa Arvizo. I saw her standing in the front office. I went up to her and I said, Lisa, you got a dress on. What are you doing with a dress on? Oh, yeah, I know, Mr. Ivers. I don't usually wear a dress at the food bank, but I graduated from high school today. And the Yuma Community Food Bank's my family. The people who work here, the staff, everybody, they're so wonderful. I just got a scholarship to the University of Arizona, and I got $1,500, and I'm giving $750 to the food bank. Whoa, come on, we could clap for a generosity of a young lady like that. When people see us coming, do they see sun? Somebody who's more giving to others. Grant Adams has a great book out there called Give and Take, where he talks about people who give and are more optimistic and get the toxins out of their life and are fresher, are going to be happier. And that's what the sun can do for us. And the last element, water. See, our water said, Mike, if we don't have water, forget it. You can have the soil, the right temperature, but if you don't have that life-giving water, you're not going to be able to rotate, and the sun won't even help you. Are we life-giving? What sustains us? What makes us fresh? Get out there in Cusp 2013 and develop relationships. Meet someone you don't know. Be water to somebody else, and let them be water for you. We got a big battle going on in Yuma. Everybody wants our water, and they don't realize Like I just shared that in the last 5 years, 832 truckloads of produce have gone out to the rest of this country. They even produce onions. You don't want to get hidden ahead of this. There you go. You got it. All right. Onions. We need them. Avocados. We got the best guacamole in the world in Yuma, Arizona. And look at this. This is a tomatilla. I don't even know what it is, but we get it at the food bank. And believe it or not, this is a potato. There you go. All right. Now, if you all got together afterwards, you could maybe make a nice salad. And the last thing we grow is lemons. People don't know that. The only thing I'm certain of in life is that I don't know how much I don't know. Sometimes I'm not even aware of the jalapeno peppers in my life or the romaine lettuce in my life. And sometimes I'm going along and the weeds are still there. We got to get them out. I got to make sure all the weeds. We got to let the water flow. We got to allow the water to go upon us so it can feed us, and then we can be fresher. That's the goal. Let the water fall upon you in Cusp 2013. You can be fresher than no matter how you are. I was running along the lakefront. Well, I really wasn't running along the lakefront. I was jogging at a very slow pace. And I was looking in people's faces as I took the L yesterday from O'Hara. It's not O'Hara Airport, okay? If you're from Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. O'Hara Airport. And you look at some people and you say, now there's a fresh human being. And then you look at some others and you say, you know what? There's a stale human being. And if we're all honest with ourselves, sometimes we're very fresh and sometimes we're very stale. I said hello to everybody I saw this morning, and not one person said hello to me first. I don't blame them, but anyway, I look sort of weird. But I must say, if we're fresh human beings, then we're going to be able to say, wow. I'm 66 years old, and I was coming down Navy Pier, and I saw the beautiful skyline and the sun bouncing off of it. I said, wow. I'm glad that I am 66 years old and still be able to say, wow. When I jogged over there, I was going by the Rehab Institute. When I look at the tragedy that happened yesterday, we have no idea. The other day in the Navy Yard in D.C., we have no idea how fortunate we are to be alive. So we've got to embrace that. Sometimes I really do think that we're not a society of human beings, but a collection of headsets. And Dave Mason said, yeah, you're right, Mike. Do you know that I got to text my kids when they're in the basement to tell them to come for dinner because they can't hear anything with their headsets on? So let's commit ourselves to being more fresh human beings and to look more for the cucumbers in our lives. Nice try. All right, that'll be a good salad for somebody. And the carrots. The carrots. God love the carrots. Let's let the water of life come upon us. Let's embrace Cusp 2013. Let's grow and get fully